I'm back. The champ is back, ladies and gentlemen. No preparation. We ain't even prepped for this video, but we do have a couple notes for you. We were going to talk about Gervonta CrackBabyWahid, and you know I love me some CrackBabyWahid videos, boy. We were going to talk about CrackBabyWahid versus Floyd Schofield. It's being negotiated, marinated for September. Now, you know, I've seen a couple channels talking about this. I've seen a couple websites talking about this. Maybe they're about to put him on like 5-year probation. Maybe the girl dropped the charges. I don't know what's really going on with the, you know what I mean, with the case. The criminal, CrackBabyWahid. I mean, this shit happened in Florida. So I was predicting that, you know, he was going to do a bid. But maybe the girl dropped the charges. Maybe they dropped a bag on her broke ass, you know what I mean? Gave her like $250,000 and she dropped the charges. You could do a whole lot of things with money. Casherini, Mularini, cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo. Shout out to Wu-Tang. Shout out to my fucking Knicks. Smashing these country ass San Antonio Spurs. Finally getting a chip. You know what I mean? New York City is completely destroyed. And Trump said they could get a pass. They could get a pass for that one. Not any other pass. But for that one, you know what I mean? You could get a pass. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Trump is a Knicks fan. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to talk about CrackBabyWahid versus Floyd Schofield. I did another video. I'm going to upload. I just been kind of busy. You know what I'm saying? I've been kind of busy with the S&P. You know what I mean? Getting my studies up. You know what I mean? Getting my studies up. The NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, you know what I mean? I gotta get my fucking money. For real. I've been kind of busy, you know what I mean? But I did another video. I don't know what card it's on. It's on this SD card or another SD card. But it's somewhere. I'm going, you know what I mean? I just haven't had time to upload it. But I did a whole other video just on that. You know what I mean? He wants a payday. He wants to stay busy because that's all Floyd Schofield is. You don't even know Floyd Schofield. He's the guy who ducked Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? About 6 months ago, they were supposed to have a, you know, before the Neofimo, Floyd Schofield Jr. was supposed to be the stay busy to get Shakur Stevenson ready for the Teofimo Lopez ass whooping. You know what I mean? And that was supposed to be a massive bag for Shakur Stevenson and for Floyd Schofield. You know what I mean? In Riyadh. You know the Arabs, you know what I mean, be dropping the bag. But Floyd Schofield pulled out. You know what I mean? So that's all I really know about Floyd Schofield, his little ass. You know what I'm saying? He pulled out. But now, so it seems like Shakur Stevenson's leftovers that duck Shakur Stevenson's are Puerto Rican Stevenson, you know what I mean, are now supposed to be Gervonta's leftovers. I have like really no interest in any of this. I have no interest in any Gervonta, anything, except like, you know what I mean, a big fight against Puerto Rican Stevenson, or like, I really want the Lamont the Legend Roach rematch. That's what I really want. You know what I'm saying? I want the Lamont the Legend Roach rematch more than the Shakur Stevenson, because I'm a real boxing fan and I like the storyline. Yeah, I like that WWE, you know what I mean? Grease flying off your head. And the way that Lamont the Legend Roach schooled Gervonta CrackBabyWahid, boy, I'm picking Lamont the Legend Roach. And secondary, I would like the Isaac Cruz at 135. No weight training. I want that rematch too because I like the storylines. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, CrackBabyWahid, he just want to stay busy. He just want a payday. He just wants a pie. Hunting pies again all his life. You know what I mean? His best win is Ryan Garcia. Bro. When Ryan Garcia is your best win, I just can't respect you, son. And your second best win is you know what I mean, a smaller, you know what I mean, brought up Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, really, to be honest, if you're a real boxing fan, and you have to answer who is Gervonta CrackBabyWahid Davis's best win, you have to say Leo Santa Cruz. Because at least Leo Santa, I mean, he was carried up, you know what I mean? At least Leo Santa Cruz is a multiple weight division champion at 126 and 130. Leo Santa Cruz has a way better resume than Ryan Garcia will ever have his entire career, not just now and ever. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, from a smaller weight class. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So his best win is Leo Santa Cruz, and his second best win is Ryan Garcia. He's got one good win in his entire crack baby career, and that's Leo Santa Cruz. Ryan Garcia, the fake Mexican, the white boy from the hills with the fake Mexican daddy, the fake Mexican mama. Those are not even his parents. That nigga's adopted. This is a total fabrication made by Oscar de la Renta. That's a white boy that can, you know, throw a left hook. You know what I mean? He can't speak Mexican. He don't look Mexican. He don't got Mexican hair. He don't eat Mexican. This is not Mexican. Who the fuck believes this nigga's a Mexican? I never believed Ryan Garcia was a Mexican. Nobody's ever going to convince me that Ryan Garcia is a... Bro, have you seen his dad? His dad don't look nothing like him. His mama don't look nothing. These are paid actors, my nigga. This is a whole, you know what I mean, YouTube, you know what I mean? There's a whole fabrication, son, like Islam. Totally fake. But I did a whole other video on Schofield and Gervonta. I have no interest in the fight. I mean... You know what I mean? PBC is hanging on by a tiny little hair on Thurman's head. And that hair got knocked out by Sebastian the Grasshopper Fundura. PBC is like, only got one star. David Benavidez. And Gervonta. So they're trying to save PBC and trying to rush him back. He might just get his ass whooped by Floyd Schofield by a Staybusy. But I have no interest in that. So I really, you know what I mean? I want to talk about money. I know niggas don't want to talk... Don't, you know what I mean? They, you know what I mean? They skip my money videos and I only get like 2 views. You know what I mean? They just want Adrian Broner slap the hoe. Adrian Broner is 250 pounds. Gervonta CrackBabyWahid, his court case. Devin Haney is ducking. They just want this dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? I know how my fan base is. I know how my subscribers are. Like 90% of niggas. Broke, stupid. You know what I mean? Potatoes. These are fucking walking potatoes. Yes, you. Yes, you. 95% of my subscribers, I don't even want you. I don't even like you. As a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? I've been telling you to unsubscribe. You know what I mean? A long time ago. But this ain't like Facebook. I can't block you. If I could, if YouTube had a block, you know what I mean, that I could just block you, you could never watch my videos again, 90% of my subscribers will be blocked. But this is not like Facebook. This is not like Instagram. I can't just block you. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, please, get your broke financing an iPhone, financing the home, financing the car. You know who you is. You know what I mean? You gossiping hoes. Please hit the pause button right now and hit the unsubscribe button and never come back, never watch my videos. That goes for like 90%, pretty much all of them. You know what I mean? Pretty much all of them. You know what I mean? I know exactly what you're like. Financing the phone, $29.99 a month. I know. Paying for everything with the Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Never carrying the Casherini Mularini. Never, ever that. You know what I'm saying? I know how y'all is. Broke ass niggas. You know what I mean? Obsessed with fucking celebrities and stupid shit. You know what I mean? So I had to start the video like that. But now let's get down to it. I already did this video the other day. It only got like 2 views. But this is like the live edition. We talking stocks. We talking futures. We talking options. We talking indexes. We talking the 3 types of day traders. You need to learn some trading. Hashtag no lie. AI is right around the corner and about to take your job. They're not about to take my job. You know what I mean? Because I pulled the pivot like the Pivot Podcast. You know what I mean? I'm pulling a pivot like the Pivot Podcast. Boy, I've been done shit like that. I pulled a pivot from a fucking crappy job into a fucking business. You know what I mean? Got paid. And now I'm gonna pull a pivot from my current business to an easier business. You know what I mean? Where I could just make me my 5 to 10 grand in the morning and go make epic videos in my car or at the park. Hashtag no life. You know what I mean? But there are 3 types of day traders. There are 3 types of traders. You got 1, day traders. Those are people who trade in one day, right? They get in and they get out. That also has the most risk, right? But it also makes you the most money. Then you got swing traders, medium traders. They get in and they get out within, you know what I mean, a week, 30 days, right? A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or 30 days. Hold up. We got a dumbass nigga over here. You know what I mean? Some old ass bitch. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to put her on cam because, you know, I respect my elders. Unlike y'all broke ass niggas. But she thinks that, you know what I mean? She thinks that, you know, that I'm going to leave. I'm not leaving. And she's getting a little too close to my car. Now, number 3 is long-term traders. Hold up, lock the doors. You got broke niggas coming down the block. You know what I mean? We don't trust none of these niggas ever. A 41-year-old dad of a 7-year-old daughter just got shot in the Bronx because some nigga was, you know what I mean, talking on the phone, all type of reckless, right in front of him. Probably he was with a daughter. I don't know all the details, but I know he had a daughter, right? Nigga was going to work. He's like, yo, can you know, quiet it down, homie? Like, you know what I mean? And homie, you know what I mean? The dude got, you know what I mean, triggered, blasted him right in the bus, and killed him. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust none of these fucking skinny ass niggas. Hashtag no lie. Take that shit however the fuck you want. And shit is not racism. The shit is reality. 80 to 90% of these niggas is broke psychopath. Many of them have guns. Many of them have drugs on them. Many of them have knives on them, and they're easily fucking triggered. These are CrackBabyWahids. Yes. I'm not leaving. No, I'm not leaving. Do you want to park here? Huh? Oh, but I'm not leaving. I'm just doing a video. I'm leaving my car here. Yeah. I'm not leaving. No, I'm not going. No go. No. I know that's what you wanted. You know, she wants the parking spot. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not leaving. It's just for the video. But, actually, I feel bad for this old lady, man. I feel bad for this old lady. I could get parking somewhere else. Here. Hey, you can park. You live here? You live there? You live there? Okay, you can park here. I'm gonna move the car. So you can park in front of your house, okay? I feel bad for that old ass lady, you know what I mean? She's like 90 years old. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh, you need to leave. Park there. Do not park there. There. Because that lady's parking there. Let me move. Yeah, she's like 90 years old, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't park on the other side of the street. I can find parking anywhere, and I can walk, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta do nice things like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially for old people, like. But yeah, as I was saying, Hold on, let me pull over somewhere and finish up this video. That old lady threw me off, you know what I mean? But my videos is live. These are real videos, you know what I'm saying? This is like not like a joke, you know what I'm saying? This is what you get with live videos, with real videos. I'm not, you know what I mean, in a basement, you know what I mean? Talking about fucking Adrian Broner and stupid shit, you know what I'm saying? This is real videos, real life. Let me see, let me park over. Let me park right over here by the tree, in the shade. So, you got day traders, you got swing traders, and you got long-term traders. Day traders are in one day, right? In and out, like a thief in the fucking night. Got the most risk, but it makes the most money, right? Now, you can make good money also, it really depends on the person, because there's swing traders that make more money than day traders, right? But for the most part, you know what I mean? As a general, day traders make more money than swing traders because they trade options and futures. We're gonna get to that in a minute. Swing traders are, you know what I mean, anything that's more than 3 days, you know what I mean, but not more than a month, right? They catch the swing. They buy Apple at $200, and within 2 weeks it goes up to $220, $240, you know what I mean, and they sell it, make their $20, $40, right? Long term is anything more than a month, right? Your index funds, right? Long term, you're holding this for over a year. That's long term. Anything that is below a year is considered swing trading, right? 1 month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, swing trading. Day trading, it's in the name, 1 day, right? Now, you got 3 types of products to trade. You got stocks, index funds, which are, a stock is a piece of a company, right? That's real simple to understand. Index funds are like a group of stocks grouped together into a fund, right? Diversified. What index funds do is they diversify, you know what I mean? Where if one stock goes down, your whole portfolio doesn't go down, because that's just one out of 500 stocks. For the S&P 500, the 500 stands for 500 stocks. They tend to be the biggest stocks, the most profitable stocks in the market. Usually your technology, you know what I'm saying, your Amazons, your Walmarts, your McDonald's, your Coca-Colas, your Google, you get the idea, right? And then you have other types of, you know what I mean, you got different types of funds. You got the S&P 500. You got like 4 or 5 different S&Ps, right? You got the Vanguard. You got the NASDAQ. You got the Dow Jones. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones are the most popular. The NASDAQ is about 50 companies, right? The S&P 500 is 500 companies. So the NASDAQ has more volatility. It moves more up and down. If you're looking for that, to catch the dip and get the up, if you're day trading, you know what I mean? And the S&P has more stability if you're looking for something long term. You know, these are small things that, I'm not an expert, right? But these are small things that make a big difference depending on your style. Now, just because there's 3 types of traders, right? Day traders, swing traders, and long term, doesn't mean that you're only going to be just one of them. You can mix it up, but you want to specialize in one of them. You need to know, you need to have some type of foundation, some type of strategy of what kind of trader am I going to be? What kind of trader fits my personality best, fits my schedule best, fits my budget best? You know what I'm saying? Now, let me break this down also. Day trading makes the most money, generally, but also has the most risk. So obviously, if you don't have that much money, day trading might not be for you right now. Swing trading has medium risk and medium returns, okay? But it's a lot safer, especially for an amateur, for somebody beginning. Long term has the least amount of profit, but has the most stability. It is the safest, is long term, right? That's why most people that don't trade often, right? Most amateurs, they just buy the S&P, they just buy the indexes and let them hold. You know what I mean? The S&P 500 has gained 24%, 24.5%, maybe, I don't know if you can see that well right there, 24.5% within a year. So you're getting a 24% return. That's pretty good. That's way better than any bank. There's many Costco. You know the Costco chain of, you know what I mean, warehouses that sell all types of goods, right? Costco runs on a 5% margin. Costco, their net income, you know what I mean? Like the money that's in their pocket, more broke niggas, broke bitches, you know what I mean? We don't trust none of these niggas at all. We don't trust the bitches. We don't trust the niggas. We don't trust none of these stupid niggas at all. At all. And they sneak up on you from all over the fucking place. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag no lie. Hashtag no lie. Don't ever trust none of these stupid young niggas. You know what I'm saying? That bitch is gonna be pregnant and on welfare within the next year or so. Because her mama and her daddy didn't tell her not to fuck around with stupid broke niggas. Hashtag no lie. Now, as I was saying, Costco has a return works net income, like what's in their pocket after they pay all the employees, the warehouses, the inventory, you know what I mean? You got gross income. Their gross income is in billions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? The gross, the total, right? But the net is what's left over, the profit. You know what I mean? After you pay your expenses and your taxes and all your shit, right? Your warehouses and your, you know what I mean, your employees and all that shit. Their net income is 5%. So out of the billions and billions of dollars that come into Costco, only 5% is their profit. And that gives them enough for the CEO to be a multi-billionaire. You know what I mean? For all the employees to get paid, for all the executives to make their $150,000, $250,000 a year, okay? On only 5% of the total, okay? So a return of 24% year over year is awesome. You know what I mean? A lot of businesses, bodegas, your average bodega runs on 10 to 15% margins after everything is paid. You know what I mean? But their volume is so big, like Costco, right? The average bodega is, you know what I mean, a decent bodega, not even like a massive bodega, not even like a New York City, a regular New Jersey bodega, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The Habubu Habibis, you know what I'm saying? Not even the 7-Eleven chains. Them niggas is cracking like 7 to 10 grand a day. A regular bodega, a little tiny bodega is making between $2,000 to $5,000 a day. Yeah, all them sandwiches, all them potato chips, all them cigarettes, all them lotteries, them shits add up. Out of the $2,000 to $5,000 a day, the bodega owner is taking home about less than 1/5. You know what I mean? Taking home about $800 to $1,000 a day. A day. If you're bringing in 5,000, 6,000, you know what I mean? 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, that's the average that the little tiny bodega does, right? Well, I don't know if you're like in the middle of fucking Ohio, but in New Jersey, you know what I mean? In Florida, in Texas, in California, in the big states, you know what I mean? Any little tiny corner store is making 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, around 5,000 to 7,000, right? The 7-Elevens, 10 grand a day. And those businesses make about anywhere from like around 10%. But that 10% is still $800 to $1,000 for the owner income per day. At the end of the month, that's 30 grand at $1,000. Let's just round it off to $1,000 each, right? Out of like 5,000, 6,000, 1,000 is his profit, okay? So you understand how a lot of businesses run. You know what I mean? Other businesses like Apple have a crazier, you know what I mean, margin of like 30, 40%. So you have an idea, food, right? Bodegas, you know what I mean, 7-Elevens, Costco's, Walmart. These companies run on a margin of 5 to 10%. You know what I mean? So when you're getting 24% in 1 year, that is amazing. You know what I'm saying? But that's long term. That's long term. You know what I mean? That's long term. So even the guys that just have like a 401k, you know what I mean, just have like a little account that they look at 2-3 times a year, you know what I mean? They invest like 10, 20 G's into a market, put into the S&P, just let it sit there. Every year you collected 24%. Every year you're getting $2,000, $3,000 for free for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's long term. With like minimal risk, right? Swing traders, within 2 to 3 weeks, they could be cracking, you know what I mean, like 30, 40, 50%. And day traders, now day traders carry the most risk because day traders are not trading stocks, which brings me to the bottom here. There's three types of products that you're trading. You're trading stocks and indexes. Stocks are individual stocks, and indexes are just a group of stocks. You understand that? That's an easy concept to understand, right? This is what long-term and swing traders tend to trade. Long-term and swing traders. But day traders, now day traders also trade stocks, no doubt. But the majority of day traders, they trade the derivatives. The derivatives are the options and futures, which are contracts where you don't own the stock. You own the contract to control the stock. Let me repeat that. I know it's a little complicated, a little complex. You know what I mean? It was a little boom, mind-boggling for me as well in the beginning because I didn't know nothing about this. I didn't know nothing about that. I've been a retailer, wholesaler, you know what I mean, import, export kind of guy all my life, right? But day traders, the majority, not all of them. Also, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean that you don't do swing trading or you don't have another account. You know what I mean? That does the swing trading. You don't have another account that does the long term. You're gonna diversify. You're gonna have a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that do mostly day trading, they usually trade options and futures, where you don't own the stock. You're in and out like a thief in the night in one day, with massive, massive risk, but also massive, massive possible rewards. You know what I mean? These are returns of a 200, 300, 400%. Meaning, you could go in with $500 and walk out with $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 in one day. Now, obviously, like I repeated so many times, massive, massive risk. The majority of people, of beginners that go into futures and options, right? Futures and options are, slightly different, but basically the same. Contracts. The majority, 90% of people who trade futures and options lose their money. Because the majority of traders in anything besides the bottom one, even the swing traders lose money. Because the majority of traders, but the majority of people in the market do not strategize. They do not study. They think they go into it, you know what I mean, too early. I've been studying for like 2-3 months already. You know what I mean? And I haven't not invested not one dime. I am not going to invest one dime until I'm 100% sure what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to start with the long term. I'm going to start with the swing trade. I'm going to start from my way up. But my goal is the top. You know what I mean? Today, this morning, I was studying mad options and mad futures. Because I know I need to get up here. I need to get up here. I'm trying to get my $5 grand, 10 grand like that. Quick. Every day. Not every month. Not at the end of the year. No, every motherfucking day. I'm trying to get my $5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand like that. Early. Like literally, like the 10:30, 11:30, 12 o'clock. Because the day trading also, you do it during the day. You do it live. You see this, the swing trades and the long term are not live. This is you buy it and then you come back a week later, see how it's doing. You buy more, you might sell it. You come back 3 months later, you buy more, you might sell it if it went up. You know what I mean? This is like, you know what I mean, set it and forget it. The long term and the swing trading are set it and forget it. You know what I mean? The day trading is live. You know what I mean? Now, as I was saying, you got stocks and indexes, which are, a part of that company. And the index is a group of parts of a company. You understand that? That's simple to understand, right? You buy it, it goes down, you wait, but you still own that part of that company. You're not losing no money. You know what I mean? Well, you're losing money temporarily. Unless you sell it at a loss, which, you gotta be fucking stupid to do that. Unless you're fucking broke and, you know what I mean? Don't go invest money that you need. You know what I'm saying? This is not gambling, my nigga. This is not FanDuel, DraftKings. And that's why a lot of people lose money in the market, just like they lose money on FanDuel and DraftKings and Cashy and Polymarket. And the new COVID is gambling. That's why you see the ads on all your sporting shit. You know what I'm saying? Brainwashing you to go. This is a fucking hustle. It's a fucking scam to get your fucking money. You know what I mean? Just legally. You know what I mean? Get that fucking gambling. Delete all that gambling shit for your fucking phone. If you have any hope of succeeding in trading, delete all the gambling. Don't gamble at the barbecue with your homies. Don't gamble on your favorite sports team. Delete all the gambling apps. That is a disease that you won't even get started in trading. You know what I mean? So you won't even get started succeeding in trading is what I meant, right? But futures, crypto is like whatever, right? We'll get to crypto. Like crypto is not futures or options, but it's not stocks either. You know what I mean? But this is really about the stock market. The stock market is stocks, indexes, futures, and options. Futures and options are like the same, kind of like the similar group. You know what I'm saying? Futures and options is what day traders trade, most of them, because it has the highest risk, but the highest reward. This is 200, 300, 400, 500%, not 24%. You know what I'm saying? But these are not stocks. That's the most basic thing that you need to understand about futures and options. These are not stocks. These are contracts to control a massively leveraged amount of stock. Meaning, you're buying the contract for $500. You're not really buying the contract, but you know, in options you're buying the contract. In futures, your contract is seen as collateral, right? You're not technically buying the contract. That's what makes a difference. Slight, complicated type of options. You're buying the contract. You could sell the contract. Futures, it's collateral, right? You're buying a contract and you can sell the contract as well. But the contract it lets you control, for $500, you're controlling about $12,000 to $20,000 worth of stock. And you could trade that stock up and you could trade that stock down. But obviously, when you're controlling that amount of stock, that massive leveraged amount of stock, if the stock goes down, your losses are massive, because now your losses is not the loss of the cost of one stock, which is only $200. You're controlling $12,000 worth of stock. You know what I mean? You're controlling 100 shares of a stock. You know what I mean? So if it's $200 times 100, that's $20,000 of shares, right? So when it goes down, if it goes down $20, it's $20 per every single 100 of them. You know what I'm saying? Every time it goes down like a point, just a little bit, it's going down $200, $500. Now, this is a contract that you have for 1 day. So you have to have a strategy the day before you put this money up. You know what I'm saying? And the contract for futures is you're putting up the collateral of $500, right? But that doesn't mean that is your maximum loss. Your maximum loss on a futures contract is unlimited. You know what I mean? It's unlimited, depending on where the market goes. And your earnings are also unlimited. You know what I'm saying? So you need to have the 500 to get in, and you need to have a buffer zone of money in case the stock goes down. You have an automated stop loss, which most day traders use, which automatically gets you out when you have lost a certain amount. You could put it at 10%. You could say that I'm going in at this price, at the price of 7,500 points. You could go in at the price at the point at 7,500 points. But if it goes down to 7,450, just get me out. I'll take that loss. You know what I mean? Because your loss is multiplied by 12,000, 15,000, 20,000 shares. I mean, $20,000, 100, 200, 300 shares at a time. Okay? So if it goes down, this thing could go down 40 points, and you're down like $1,000 already. So you could set an automatic stop loss, which is what day traders use to prevent their whole account getting wiped out. They'd rather just take the $300, $400 loss and just get out. You know what I mean? Sell the contract. It automatically, closes you out and sells the contract, and you get out. You know what I'm saying? And then you just, you know what I mean? I recommend you come back the next day. You know what I'm saying? You already, you take a $300, $400 L. Your mind is not right. You didn't strategize right. You didn't go in right. Everything is off that day. You need to go take a day or 2 days off. Strategize. The whole strategy for not taking that loss, you know what I mean, for where to get in, is you have to plan it out days before. You know what I mean? This takes a lot of strategy, a lot of plan. This is not gambling. This is not gambling. You know what I'm saying? Even though 90% of people lose their money because they don't strategize. They don't study this. They don't look at this graph for weeks before. And you know what I mean? All the information. Now, the few people, the 10% that do make money, they make millions and millions of dollars. They're cracking this shit for like 10 grand every day. You know what I mean? 15 grand every day. $3,000, $4,000 every day. And they do it fast because the market, the day trading of the futures contracts is only for the indexes. It's not for all the stocks. That's another thing. It's only for the indexes. The S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Jones, you know what I mean? The currency exchanges, the Forexes. It's for, you got a long list. You got a list of like 20 or 30, index funds that you can trade. But it's not for all stocks because these are not stocks. Futures and options contracts, they're very, very similar. You know what I mean? We'll get into options later on, right? The thing with options is that you're buying the contract with options, but you're not buying the contract with futures. Futures losses are unlimited, while options losses have a set amount that because of the price that you're buying the contract. Once it goes below that $500 or $700 or whatever the contract costs, if it drops below that, you know what I mean? It automatically closes you out. It closes you out. You know what I'm saying? So you just take that. I mean, $500, $1,000 is a lot of money. It could be more than that. What your contract costs. But a futures contract, you could buy the contract for $50. You could pull the collateral. You're not really buying it's hard to explain. But you could buy the contract for $50 or for $500, but that's not your limited loss. It could drop below that to 600, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 7,000, 6,000. It could empty out your whole account if you don't put that stop loss to get you out. Which, a lot of people don't know about the stop loss. You know what I'm saying? The automated, boom, just get me out. Once it hits, don't let the shit just, drop like a rock. Once it hits that state, automatically get me out. You know what I mean? But futures and options, you're not trading just random they're not stocks. These are contracts for the index funds or for the currency exchanges. Or for gold or for commodities. But you have a limited amount of things that you could trade with the futures and with the options, right? They have the most risk. They're the most complex. They require the most study and the most strategy. But that's where the money's at. Like I don't need, even in the first week, I didn't have no idea how any of these things worked. I didn't know that they were just, trading index funds, that they weren't stocks. I didn't know that there were contracts instead of stocks. I didn't know that the leverage was like 10 to 15, 20% times. You know what I mean? That for $500, I'm able to control $20,000 worth of stock. Which obviously, if $20,000 worth of stock goes down, you lose a lot of money. But if $20,000 worth of stock goes up, you make a crazy amount of money. Because it only has to go up like 20 to 30% up. You know what I mean? And 20 grand becomes 30 grand. You know what I mean? And then you just close your fucking thing and you just walked out. You walked out with the fucking 20. You walked out with 30. Walked out with the 10 grand. You know what I'm saying? Not the 30. The 20 grand is what they lend you. You know what I mean? You got to give that back. But you walk out with the profit. You know what I mean? Of 10 grand. Like that. So I didn't know how any of that stuff works, but I knew the basics. I learned real quick. I realized real quick that the most risk and the most wins are... Hold up. The most risk and the most wins are with the futures and the options. You know what I'm saying? So I had no idea how they work, or not. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. I'm still learning my strategies. I have an idea how they work, a basic idea, you know what I'm saying? But I can't get through there. Broke niggas, son. Broke niggas. Broke niggas. But I knew the basics. Like any business, the first thing I don't need to understand how everything works. What the margins are, the marketing. I need to understand what products are selling the most. What products make the most money. And that's exactly what I went for. You know what I mean? I just typed in, and I use a lot of AI. I don't use like ChatGPT or OpenAI. I ain't paying none of these niggas. This shit comes with Gemini, nigga. You got Gemini on your regular computer for free. You know what I mean? Facebook got AI. All these platforms has free AI. And I'd be asking them a hella questions, a whole lot of questions. I'd be like, you know, what kind of stock trading makes the most money? In the first day, it said options and futures. You know what I mean? It also stated has the most risk and the most rewards. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what's that? What's options and futures? I thought that options and futures were a different type of stock. It's not a stock. It's a contract to control a stock. But at the end of the day, you got to give that stock back. They let you control 20%, $20,000, not 20%, $20,000 of a stock. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? You got to give that stock back. You know what I mean? Now, if you went in at a spot where the stock went up, and it went up from, you know what I mean, 20,000 to 30,000, you give back the 20,000 and you keep the $10,000. Because obviously, when a stock goes up a little bit and you're controlling a lot of it, it goes up a lot. You know what I mean? It's not like when you're controlling a stock that's only $200. It could go up and it's only going to go up $40, $50 because it's one stock. You know what I mean? I understood that margin and leverage real quick. You know what I'm saying? In options, you're buying the contract for $500. You don't get your $500 back. Your $500, you have to build that into the cost. But if I get 10 grand back, I don't mind giving, you know what I mean? The 20,000 stocks, you got to give them back anyways because they're not yours. You're just borrowing them. You're borrowing them. You know what I mean? The contract allows you to use them, right? Now, if you use them and the stock goes down, not only do you have to give back the 20,000 stocks, and if the stock went down to 15 grand, now you gotta pay. You gotta pull $5,000 out of your pocket. You know what I'm saying? In futures, in options, it just automatically closes you at whatever the contract cost was. If you paid $500 for the cost, if the stock goes down to $500 of loss, it just closes you. You're just gone. You know what I'm saying? You just lost the $500. You know what I'm saying? Which is still a lot of fucking money. But in futures, it's not like that. In futures, you could lose 4,000, 5,000. There's no limit with the futures. The options has a limit. The futures do not have a limit. The thing also is that more platforms offer futures because, you know, they're trying to get their fucking money and they know you're fucking stupid and trying to get you for your money. You know what I'm saying? Options, a lot of platforms offer options, but not as many platforms offer the options. The options are safer, but they're not as easily available. And you have less indexes to trade. You know what I mean? And like, I started to notice these things. You know what I'm saying? Even before I understood exactly how they worked, I understood. I started to notice these things real quick. Let me see, where am I going to park? And because I was like any business, you want to understand the basics. You want to understand the basics of how this works. Before you really, truly understand all of it, you need to understand the basics of how it works. You know what I'm saying? Ooh. Sorry. Let me finish off this video. But I hope you got something from it. You know what I mean? At least, you know, it doesn't explain to you all the details. You know what I mean? There's a lot of details to learn. But you understand the 3 types of traders. You understand the 3 types of products. You know what I mean? You got day traders, swing traders, and long-term traders. And then the 3 types of products are your stocks, your indexes, your futures, and your options. Futures and options are very similar, so I grouped them together. You know what I'm saying? And those are your basics. You need to know the groups of what it is you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't got my mirror open over there, so I can't really see too well. But yeah, that's my video. I hope it helped you. And you know, consider it. Consider learning your trading. It might take you a year. It might take you 2 years. You know what I mean? Neither day trading or swing trading or long-term trading, neither one is better than the other. They're just different. You need to also understand, you know, what kind of personality or schedule you have, what kind of budget you have. You know what I mean? I'm a hustler, you know what I mean? So I know that my ultimate goal is the day trading. Even if I gotta wake up early, this and that, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get them 10 bands early, quick. And I'm trying to get them every day. But I'm not fucking stupid though. Like most people. That, you know what I mean? They just get hyped up. That's another thing. Another thing that you have to really, really understand is kind of like, this is not gambling. But it does have aspects of gambling. You know what I mean? Where your emotions can get triggered. And anything where your emotions are triggered and you don't have a clear strategy days before, weeks before, notes, research. See, people don't want to do work. People want to, just toss the dice. This is not that. This will break your back like gambling if you want to treat it like gambling. If you treat trading like gambling, it will take all your fucking money. And 90%, this is a fun fact, 90% of traders lose all their money. Or lose a lot of money. You know what I mean? Or break even. They don't make no money. This is just a fact. And it's not because it's rigged against you. It's because this requires skills and research and time. And people don't want to do that. Or they don't have that capacity. Because of the way they think. Because they're not as smart. Or for whatever reason. They don't have the time. This also requires time. You know what I'm saying? People want to waste their time watching Adrian Broner and Gervonta and boxing and sports and stupid shit. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But I see this. I already come from a business background. So I knew back in the day, as a young buck, I knew that I can't treat a business like I treat a job. You know what I mean? A business is not a 9 to 5. This is not no weekends off. This is not no, you know what I mean? Holidays. Niggas want holidays. Niggas want the weekends off. They want to just barely get by. This is not like that. Just like any other business. So I already come from that background. So there's basics that I don't need to learn. You know what I mean? I need to learn the platforms. I need to learn, you know what I mean? The basics, and then know what category of the basics I'm going to specialize in. And so I already know that eventually I'm going to end up cracking these niggas for real for like 10 grand, at least 5 grand a day minimum, even early. I already know once I go in and I put my deposits, I know. Because I'm not going to go in, maybe I'll take another 6 months of studying, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go in until I'm like 80% sure of what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? You got free demos to practice. You know what I mean? All these, I've downloaded I got like 4 or 5 apps right now. You see how I be watching my shit every single day. I be studying them for free. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. I wake up studying my shit. I watch the NASDAQ, the S&P. Why am I watching the S&P? Why am I watching the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones? I watch Apple and SpaceX and Google. I watch all of them, right? But the ones I watch the most are the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow Jones because those are the ones that have the most volume for the day traders, which are the futures and the options. You know what I mean? I'm going to specialize in that. Let me put most of my time into that because it has the most risk, but also the most reward. And once I learned about the stop loss, the automated stop loss, I could just put to block my losses and just get me out immediately. I'm like, I just have to remember to put it up. I just have to remember that as soon as, or before you set them, you could set them before you even go in. The technology lets you do all things to prevent losses, to prevent risk. If people don't use them, don't know them. You know what I'm saying? Once I learned that, I'm like, oh, I can automatically just pull out. Once I lose $100 or $200, I'm good, nigga. You know what I mean? I'm risking what? You know what I mean? I'm paying $500 for the contract, right? With options, where you lose that money no matter what. The thing, or $50. They got $500 contracts and they got $50 contracts. So they got different contracts. And some contracts are $1,000 for options. Options have different, but futures only has 2 types of contracts: $500 or $50. You can start with the $50. So basically, I'm risking the $50, right? And as long as I put a stop loss of like, let's say 10%, I might be losing in general, in all, the maximum risk might be $150, $200. I'm risking $150, $200 for the possibility to make 5 grand, 8 grand, 10 grand. Boy, I take that shit all day. I could take 2-3 losses in 3 days. I could take, not 3 days straight, you know what I mean? But I'm going to take a day off, you know what I mean? Go back, re-strategize. But I could take 3 bad days, lose 200, 200, 200. You know what I'm saying? That's $600 with the stop loss. If you don't put the stop loss, you could lose your entire account in 1 day. All fucking $4,000, $5,000 in 1 day. But once I learned the stop loss shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, so I could have 3 bad days, lose every single day, as long as that stop loss gets me out at $200 to $300 a pop. You know what I mean? Let's say it's $300 loss, 3 days in a row. That's $900, right? I could eat that. Because if I come back on the 6th day or the 7th day after 2-3 days coming off and I study this chart better so I know where to go in, you know what I mean? I could come back a week later, bow, bang these niggas out for like 6 grand, 8 grand, and that covers the $900 I lost. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta do it right. I can't do it the same day. See, the professionals tell you that. You got professionals with $10 million in the bank. You know what I mean? And when they lose just $500, they're like, let me take the day off. My mind is not right. Your emotions and your mentals need to be right for this. This is not gambling, but it has poker tendencies. It has gambling tendencies to it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not gambling because all the charts are here. You know what I mean? And you can see the chart. And you can see how the chart has been the last few days. And you know what I mean? Don't go into a fucking chart that is looking suspect. You know what I'm saying? You need to wait. You need to wait a day, 2 days, 3 days, a week, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? But you need patience. You need control of patience. You need strategy. You need, you know what I mean, control of your emotions. You need to know that you're going to take L's. But you need to minimize those L's with your stop loss, you know what I mean, and with your technology. You know what I'm saying? And you basically need to plan it out. Because it's not, I say that it's not gambling because it's not like rolling a dice. It's not based on luck. It's that most people don't have the skills. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's that most people don't have the skills because none of this is by luck. These are numbers. These are all numbers. None of this is luck. You know what I'm saying? This is not like rolling a dice. It's not blackjack. There's the luck of the draw of the card. There's no luck there. I mean, there's luck there. This is not luck. You know what I mean? This morning, I learned what the average dip, what the average swing. You know what I mean? What's the average? What's the average that this stock goes down the last 7 days? And what's the average that it goes up? So I understand what the average, it could be more than that, or it could be more up, or it could be more down. But the average, you understand what the word average means, right? The word average means just about, in the middle. You know what I mean? What's the middle range that it goes down? And I learned that the S&P 500, the last week, has an average of 45 points down and about 40 to 50 points up. You know what I mean? So you got a swing there of about 50 up and 40 down, a swing of about 90 points. I didn't know nothing about that, but once you know that, that lets you know where to get in and what to expect. If it goes down, you're expecting it to go down 40 points. You're not expecting it to go down 300, 400, 400 points. It can happen, but that's an anomaly. That's like if there's like, you know what I mean, a COVID or some, you know what I mean, a 9/11 or some shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But on average, and then you could also, that's how I use AI. I'll be typing in, what's the average swing down that the S&P has done the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, the last 30 days, the last 2 months. And AI automatically tells me exactly. You know what I'm saying? What's the average swing up? So now I know where to put my stop loss. If I know that the average swing down has been 40 points, I'm going to put my stop loss at 20 points or at 15 points. You know what I mean? I'm going to put my stop loss below, below what the maximum is, so I could just be out. You know what I mean? And if I know that the average swing is going up is 40 points, I'm not gonna wait. I'm not gonna expect it to go up to 90 points but if I'm expected to go to 90 points, by the time it goes past, if I know that the average swing up is 40 to 50 points, once it goes past 55 or 52 to 53, 54, 55, it's gonna be on the swing right back down, and I'm gonna lose all my profits up here. Once I know that the average swing up is 50 points, I'm gonna put my stop sell. You got a stop loss at the bottom and a stop sell at the top. Once I put the stop sell at the top, I'm not gonna put it at 50 points if I know that the average is 50 up. I'm gonna put that stop sell at 42. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put that stop sell below it so I could grab my profit and be out before it goes all the way to the top and then it dumps back and then I lose my money. You know what I mean? So I didn't know these things, but I'd be using AI. I'd be using that. What's the difference between futures contracts and options contracts? What's the difference in price for the micro S&P, and then you got the mini S&P? They sound the same, but they're not. The micro is $500 a pop for the contract. The mini is $50 a pop, right? The $500 contract, each point is $50. $500 to go in, but each point going down or each point going up, it's worth $50. The micro is $50 to get in, and each point is only $5. So once you understand these things, how, you know what I mean, which index you want to trade, what kind of option, what kind of futures, you know what I mean? And I be asking, you know what I mean, Gemini, I be asking, you know, whatever, Facebook, all they all got Twitter, they all got AI. You know what I mean? You ask them anything, you know what I mean? And once the answer comes up, it has the question on the top and it's got the answer on the bottom. And I just screenshot it and I put it in a folder so I could go back to it. You know what I'm saying? I be learning this shit. It might take me 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. This ain't no fucking 4-year college, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch on to this shit and I'm gonna start. Because I'm smart, I ain't fucking stupid. I'm not going to be risking $500 on shit that I don't even know how to just downloaded the fucking app, the platform a couple days ago. No, I'm going to do the long term, the easy. I'm going to take that 24%. You know what I mean? I'm not going to jump up to the 100, 200, 300%. You know what I mean? I'm going to buy just one stock for $150. You know what I'm saying? Wait for that 5%, 10% return. Then I'm going to do with the swing trade. Then I'm going to buy 3 stocks. Invest $600, you know what I mean, with the stocks that I own. These are not futures, these are not options, these are not contracts. I still own that. So if it goes down, I still own the stock. I just gotta wait an extra week or an extra month. But you know what I mean? If it's like a real stock, if it's like a, you know what I mean, respectable company like Apple or Google, the shit is not gonna go down and just stay down. Within 30 days, it's gonna come right back up. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna start with the long term, then I'm gonna climb up to the swing trading, and then, you know what I mean, boom! About to crack these niggas with the day trading. Let me tell you, for $5,000 to $10,000. I know. I can already see it. I can already see it, nigga. I'm strategizing, nigga. I'm learning also which indexes have the most volatility, have the most going up and down, because I need this shit to go up and down. See, long term, I don't want it to go up and down too. I don't want my shit to go down too much. I want it to stay kind of, you know, go, you know what I mean, a little zig, and then go up. A little zig, and go up. You know what I mean? For the long term and for the swing trading. But for the day trading, I need it to go down so I could buy it super cheap. You know what I mean? Put my stop loss just under it a little bit. And then boom, skyrocket. You know what I mean? 5-8 grand. You know what I'm saying? And buy it up here and sell it up here. And take my profit. I can't make any money with the day trading if there's no volatility. That's why the pros, I've been watching my videos, and the pros always say, yo, if you don't see no volatility in the S&P, or the NASDAQ, or the Dow Jones, or whatever index fund you're trading that day, the options in the futures, if you don't see no volatility, you need to wait. Or you need to just wait for another day. You know what I mean? You need to wait, son. You need to see what's happening before. If you see the shit is mad choppy, there's not too many buyers, not too many sellers, there's not too much interest that day, don't go in just because you want to trade that day. Because there's volatility is the up and down. How big is the spread? You know what I'm saying? You need that to get money. You need it to go down to go back up. I'm not making money here, from here to here. I need it to go down here and then skyrocket up. And I need to watch it that I don't get in the middle. I don't want to get in the middle from here to here. I'm trying to get from here all the way up here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna watch it. I watch it the day before, and I write down a little time. What time does it go? What time does it go drop? You know what I mean? And when it drops all the way down, I buy it all the way cheap, super duper cheap at the bottom, and then I put a stop loss before that in case it doesn't go any cheaper. You know what I mean? Never ever trust these niggas. Never ever trust this fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it could always go cheaper. You know what I mean? But you have a range of like the days before. The AI already told you that it goes down 40 points. It's not gonna go down 400 points. It goes 40 points. So it might go down 42 points, 43 points. It might go down 38 points. But it's gonna be in that range between 35 to 45 points, right? Once you know that range is at and you see what that price is down here, boom, you put a price around that range of 38. You know what I mean? Around that 38 point dip. You know what I'm saying? You buy it and then you already know what the average rise is gonna be. And you sell it at that rise of 42, 38, 39. The swing up and down is usually the same. It's usually similar to what it's been the last 7 days. Now, if that swing changes and becomes only 20 points down and 20 points up, you need to go according to that strategy. If it goes up, if it's 100 points up and 100 points down because there's a lot of people buying the last week, these things change from week to week, from day to day. You know what I'm saying? You go according to that. You need to have a background knowledge, you know what I mean, to set your strategy. And, you know what I mean? And you can't just go in there blind and just be trading random shit, you know what I'm saying? And plan shit out. You know what I'm saying? Please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, share. Thank you.